Well, you must have been to 4 hour design thinking workshops and thought, is there a better way to do this, especially in the world of AI? Can I do this faster? Why do I always have to sit in 4 hour workshops whenever there's a design thinking session? Well, there is a better way to do this, especially by leveraging free tools from AI where you could almost automate the entire work so that all the 5 steps of design thinking, what you call the empathize, the define, the ideate, the prototype, and the test, all the stages can be done very fast within seconds every single time without you intervening and spending hours to do it. So, let me show you how we can do that. So for this, we are going to use N8N, which is an open source automation tool. And within that, we will utilize this capacity to be able to utilize an open AI agent, an AI agent, Notion page, memory. So we'll look at all the works there. So basically what we're going to do is we are going to use an AI agent and automate all the 5 steps of design thinking using that AI agent. So let's look at how it is done. We need to go to the N8N page, just search in Google N8N and create an account there. Once you have created an account, you would come to this kind of a page. This page is a blank page. So what you would do is it's a new workflow. So you will click on add first step. What I have done is, the first step can be a form submission because I want to capture the user persona in a form. It's going to be a very simple form, just one text box, user persona, that's it. So let's search on form here and you see an N8N form. So what are the triggers here? And on new form. All right. So this is how it looks like. You don't have to do much here except fill a few parameters here, which we'll talk about. So what I want to show you first is how the workflow looks like. So this is the form, okay, and there's an event here which it captures, which is on form submission. So when it creates a form and you fill it and submit it, the output of that goes to the next stage. What's the next stage? The next stage is going to be an AI agent which will take this output and then decide what it should be doing with it. In our case, what we are trying to do is we'll take this user persona and then utilize that as a prompt for ChatGPT and ask these 5 questions of the empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test phase, and try to come up with the final output of that. So we're going to do all the 5 stages automatically within like seconds, which could take you like hours and hours to do. So just look at this. Have patience. So this is a form submission. You click on the plus sign here, and you look for the AI agent. So now under the category AI, you see something called an AI agent here. So you can choose that. Again, it opens the parameters. We're not looking at this right now because I want to show you how the layout looks like. So you had this form and now you have the AI agent. You can see different nodes here. So the chat model. So this is the node where you connect your AI chat. In our case, we are going to use the chat GPT, which is from OpenAI. So we are going to search for OpenAI. Okay, and you can see the OpenAI chat model here. We'll look at that. Again, back to canvas, and the chat GPT model has been connected here, right? Memory, you would need memory because you want to save the intermediate steps, right? You have 5 steps there. So you want to save those steps. So you will just choose, you'll click on plus and it will show you something called for a beginner simple memory. This is good enough for you. So just click on simple memory, back to canvas, and you can see the simple memory here. Very simple to do. And now you want the output of this to be stored somewhere where you can actually refer to it later or show it to people by sharing it and stuff like that. So a Notion is a good tool, which is kind of a productivity app, which has a database and pages and a few other things. So you can utilize that as an output dashboard. So that's what we are going to do here. So we click on tool. So I'll search on Notion, and this is the Notion tool. All right. Again, back to canvas, and you can see that the Notion tool has been added here. The simple memory has been added here, and the OpenAI chat model has been added along with the form submission. So this is how a very simplistic but super powerful AI agent workflow will look like in N8N. and this will do magic for you. Just look at this. So this is another window where I have filled in all the parameters. I'll just show you the key parameters here. So let's look at the form submission first. I'll double click on that and it opens the parameters window here. There's no authentication required because it's internal. You can give a form title here, and then you can give a form descriptions. Basically, how your form looks like when you click when the form opens. The important thing is you need a field there because a text box, all right, that captures the user persona, because that is what you are going to take and search ChatGPT using that. It should be a required field, all right, and the type is text. So coming back to the canvas, so you have sorted out the form agent. Double click on the agent. Looking at the parameters here, so I've chosen a tool agent. Sometimes you will not see this option of the agent here. It defaults to a tool agent if you don't see that, so don't worry about it. All right. Source for prompt is defined below. What I've done is there are two options here: connected chat trigger node. So if you're using a chat input in an 10, you use that, but here we are using a form, which is why I've chosen define below. And then I've taken a JSON parameter of user persona here. So now what you basically do is you just drag this and put it here, and it'll populate automatically. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this. Now I have what I've done is in the agent I've given it a system message which actually is a set of instructions on how it should work. The instructions are very detailed, and this is where the actual magic, the brain of the agent lies, and you are the brain. Okay, so you will receive a user persona from a form. This is what I've written here. Your task is to use the user persona text with the following prompt and search in OpenAI. List one question to understand problems faced by the user persona that you already put in the form. Then use that output from the previous step. So you're taking the output from the previous step and asking the next question, which is the next stage of the design thinking process, which is defined. So you already did the empathize when you captured a problem. Now you are defining the problem. So based on the user needs, write a concise problem statement from the user's perspective. So you are defining the problem now. Now you take the output from here and you go to the next stage, which is ideate. So the ideate stage is brainstorm one very innovative solution for the problem. So you are actually creating a solution here, which is the ideation phase. I will take the idea that is created here and again take a prompt, which is create a simple wireframe for the solution. So you are prototyping here, which is the fourth stage of design thinking. So you're prototyping by using this prompt. This will create a beautiful wireframe for you, which you could actually use. You could just copy paste it in, or automatically do it. Do a generation of this wireframe for an actual form or mobile app or something in Claude or ChatGPT. You can do that. Now the second last step here. So you take this wireframe and you actually seek feedback from the AI model itself. You could do it from another human being, but you could do it from the AI model also. So that's the power. So the chat here is acting as a first time user. What feedback would you give on the wireframe? Isn't it amazing? So you created the wireframe from ChatGPT, and then as a new user, as a first time user, you are seeking feedback for that over there. Okay. And then you take this, and in the last step, you just save it on a Notion page. You could do this anywhere. You could save it on Google Drive or Google Sheets, or just email it to yourself, or so many things. It's very powerful. So there's so many options there. So this is what is the brain of the agent in terms of options. Going back to the canvas, you have the AI model, the OpenAI model. Here it's pretty simple. So I've used the NA10 free OpenAI credits. So if you create a new account in NA10, you get these free credits which you can use for some time. So utilize these free credits, and the response format would be text here. So just don't forget to do that. Then going back to the canvas, simple memory, you don't have to do anything. It's an internal thing. Save to Notion, you have to come here, and in the parameters, you actually have to connect a Notion account. So what you need to do is just take a KPI. So you will create a new credential here, and from the Notion page where you created a login, you take the API key and paste it here. So it's pretty simple. And maybe I'll put in the steps or create another video for that. I wanted to keep this simple for you. Now here the ID is actually the Notion page ID, which you will see in the Notion pages hyperlink. So you can just copy that ID and paste it here. And there's going to be a title here for the page, and there's going to be a paragraph, which is actually the output of those five stages of the OpenAI output. Okay, so this is a JSON for that. So this is how the parameterization looks like. Your agent is ready. So it looks very simple, or maybe scary for first time users, but it is super powerful. So what we're going to do is we are now going to execute the workflow. Okay, so you click on execute workflow. It generates the form. This is a test version. So I'll put in a persona here. What is the persona? The persona is a 35-year-old freelancer, blah blah blah. So I'm just pasting it here, who struggles with invoicing clients. And I submit it. Form submitted. I close the window. You can see the AI agent working. So all these wheels and gears turning around, and you see the green ticks, which means these stages have completed. And it you will see a few iterations of this happen, because we are asking the five prompts for this five stages of design thinking. So it has completed now. The workflow executed successfully. So now let's look at the Notion page and see what's in store for us. So this is the output, the freelancer invoicing problem. And you can see here that it has created you can see the five stages. So no, the 5 points for the five stages. So it is the first one is the question that it asked. Then it is categorizing the problem from the user's perspective, then creating an innovative solution for that, then creating a simple wireframe for the solution, and then seeking feedback for that wireframe. So it has done all of that and given you everything in one page, at the click of a button, within like 2 minutes, which could have taken you like 4 hours easily on top, right? So this is pretty powerful, pretty easy to build, and I've given you all the steps here. If you have any problems or questions, feel free to reach out in the comment section. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, so that I can continue to make such wonderful videos.